Hello, everyone. All right. Today is our day 4, and we'll be talking about constants. Okay. Now, the thing is this: no matter how hard it is to make this program complete, I'm going to do that. Okay. It's actually tough for me to come back and do this. This is around after 9, and I have to do this before I go to bed, and I have a whole lot of classes to prepare for tomorrow. But this is my commitment, and I promise that I will be committed to this. And this is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about constants in that programming language. Okay. We have talked about variables, and we mentioned that variables are variables can change, just like the name sound variables, they can vary. So the value you store in a variable, you can change it, but it doesn't mean that you change it to a different data type, or it must be the same data type. You cannot have a variable of integer and later you want to add you want to change it to a double you want to add a double value to it. It will not work. Okay. Unless you typecast. All right. You cannot have a string variable and you want to add an integer or a double or a boolean. It will not work. So, but if you can change, if you have an integer variable and the value you gave it a value of 10, you can change it to 100, you can change it to 200, as long as it is of the same data type. That's a variable. But for constants don't change. Once you have initialized it with a value, you cannot change it. Okay. And something like pi, all right, pi in mathematics, pi does not change. Pi is always 3.14. I believe I'm correct. If I'm not correct, please just tell me what it is in the comment section. Okay. Now, pi cannot change. So there are scenarios like that. There are things that cannot change. All right. When you're actually just like temperature, okay, it cannot change. The room temperature, I don't know. Yes, the room temperature. There's this temperature that is okay. I can't really remember all those temperature values. But what I'm trying to say here is this: if you have any value that will not change, you always have to use a constant. Okay, so there are two types of constants. And one other difference between constant and variable is that, when we talked about variables in the last video, if you not watch that video, please watch day 3 of this video, of this playlist. So we talked about you can declare a variable without assigning a value. After declaring it, you can now assign a value, and you can also initialize a variable. Thereby, you declare and assign on the same line of code. Okay. Now, for constants, you cannot declare without assigning it a value. You have to initialize it. You cannot declare and assign later. No, you must initialize it. You must initialize it to a particular value. Okay. So that's more one of the differences. So now let's take a look at the two types of constant that we have. We have constant that you use the const keyword to create, and we also have the constant that use the final keyword to create. Now, what is the difference? Okay. Now, before we go into coding, I want you to understand, we have talked about compile time and run time. Please, if you don't understand it, watch one of the videos in the playlist. But if you don't understand it, let me know in the comment section so that I can make a separate video on what I mean by compile time and run time. But basically is this: compile time is the time your code compiles to machine code. That is compile time. While run time is when your application is running. Okay, just like I have my PowerPoint. Now my PowerPoint is at its run time. The application is running in my system. Okay, so now you use const keyword for values that are going to be known at compile time, while you use the final keyword for values that will be known at runtime. Now, what do I mean? Now, let's take a look at this example here. All right. Now, look at this example. My screen is showing. Okay, we have this constant double pi 3.14, and we have this constant, this final constant. The data type is date time. Don't worry, in one of our videos, we are going to discuss this date time data type. But so these are complex data types. They are not the primitive data types. Okay, so we'll talk about that when we talk about data types later in this course. So now, the date time dot now we don't know what the value is at compile time, but 3.114 is a compile time value. We know the value. The value is 3.14. But what is datetime.now? We don't know. Okay, we don't know. So if we have a function that is returning a value, don't worry, we'll talk about functions later, all right, and methods, we'll talk about them later. So if you have something like that, they will always be known. The values will be known at runtime. So in case you don't understand what runtime and compile time is, let me know in the comment section so that I can make a separate video for that. Okay, so these are the two differences. I cannot come and say const. Okay, I cannot come and say const here. I cannot do this. Look, at it's giving me an error already. It's telling me that, look at the error it's telling me. It's telling me that the constructor being called isn't a const constructor. Don't worry, you're going to understand what this thing means very well when we start talking mostly about classes and when we start developing our Flutter application. That's where you're going to understand this thing very well. But what it's trying to say is this value, datetime.now, is not returning any constant value. It is not a constant constructor. So you cannot use constant keyword here. So you should use the final, because we don't know the value of this date time at compile time. This value will be known at runtime. So this is the two difference. This is the major difference between these two and constant. So if you have variables that are not going to change, please use the constant if you're sure of the value at compile time. But if you're not sure of the value at compile time, you use final. So you cannot change this value. Now, let's say I try to change this value now. Let's say I try to change this value now to, I will now say pi is equal to 9.87. It will not work. It's going to give me an error. It's saying constant variables can't be assigned a value. Okay, you cannot. You have declared it constant with the const keyword. You cannot change it. I can also, even with this final variable here that I said date, I cannot also change it. I cannot do that. Even if I try to use the date time, okay, it will not work. It won't work. All right. It's going to give me an error. It's saying here, the final variable date can only be set once. Okay, so you cannot change their values. So, but if you're working with variables values can change, but constant values cannot change. All right, so that is it. So the next thing we are going to take a look at is this. Okay, let's understand how we name variables. There are a few rules that you need to follow when naming your variables. They are not compulsory, but these are the things you need to master, because most of the code you'll be writing, you're not the only person that might be reading that code. And if you have a good naming convention on how you name your variables, it's going to be amazing for you and for other people. Okay, so first of all, you start with a lowercase letter. All your variables should start with a lowercase letter. They should start with a lowercase letter. Then if the name is made up of multiple words, join them together and start every word after the first one with an uppercase. What does it mean? Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean here. The first rule is that you should start your variables with lowercase, and that's what we have done here. The pi is start with a small letter p. Date starts with this. But what if I have a variable, something like I believe you remember this var keyword. If you don't know what this var keyword is, watch the previous video on variables. And if you don't still understand, drop a comment in the comment section so that I can actually make a video on this var keyword. Okay, we use it to declare a variable that we are not sure of the type. Okay, or we use it to declare a variable that we are not really sure of the type. Okay, so I can use this var keyword and I will say, let me say first name, because now this first name has two words together, first and name. So this is the way you can do it. You can call it this way, Then you can now assign whatever value you want to assign. Okay, I can say my first name is Paulson. Okay, and I will do this. Okay, so start with start the first letter with lowercase. If you have multiple words in a variable name, they separate them by capitalizing the first letter of, after the first small lowercase, the next word should start with a capital letter. If I have something like first name initial, I would start with the capital I and I will say initial. Okay, so this is how you do it. All right, so let's go back to our slide and see what we have there. Okay, you have to treat abbreviations like words. For example, source URL, URL description. You know, when you have abbreviations like URL, abbreviations like PhD. No, PhD is not abbreviation. Sorry, I'm giving the wrong example here. Abbreviations like HTTP, abbreviations like NAVDAC, abbreviation like whatever whatever abbreviation you have, treat them as a word. Okay. Now let's take a look at arithmetic operations. Okay. Now the thing is this: what you do as a computer programmer is that you write a program, and your program would always make use of data. And that data, you'll be performing arithmetic operations on the data that you have. You can have data 3 and you have data 2. You can perform arithmetic operation on these two data. You can do 3 plus 2. You can do 3 minus 2. You can do 3 times 2. So those arithmetic operations that we have in mathematics, you can all have all of them here. So let's take a look at what these operations look like. Each operation in that uses a symbol known as the operator to denote the type of operation it performs. So multiplication has its symbol, addition has its symbol. Every operation have their own symbol. Okay. Now, consider the 4 arithmetic operations you learned in your early school days. We did the addition, we did subtraction, we did multiplication, and we did division. So all of these operations, they have their own symbols. So we are going to take a look at them one by one. Okay, so for this simple operation, that uses the following operators. For the add, it is plus. For subtract, it is minus. Okay. For multiply, it is the asterisk or the star. Okay. And for divide is the backslash. But the thing is this: division, we have 2 types of division. We have decimal division and we have integer division. So let's go straight to our code. Let me show you each of these operations on how they work. Okay. So let's say, please pardon me, I'll have to delete all these guys. Okay. Now let's say we have an integer, and we call it sum, and this sum is equal to 2 plus 3. Okay, you can at least give a space between these guys. 2 plus 3. So if I'm to print this result now, I would get, if I run this code now, 2 plus 3, and I saved it in the variable sum. If I run this now, I'm going to get 5. Okay. If I run this now, I am going to get 5. So this is addition. Okay. I can also have these two values in a variable. Let's say int, I call it a is equal to 3 semicolon to end your simple statement. Remember, simple statement and complex statements. Okay. Your statements must always end with semicolon. Okay. Then I have another int and I call it b is equal to 2. I can add these two variables. Instead of this, I can do a plus b. And if I run this, I'm still going to get 5. Okay, so this is addition. This is addition. What of subtraction? Let us take a look at subtraction. 3 minus, if I want to do 3 minus 2, if I want to do A minus B, I will instead of the plus symbol, I will use the dash symbol. That's the minus symbol. And if I run it, I'm going to get 1 because 3 minus B is 1. I can also use values like this. I can also say 5 minus 2. And if I run it, I am going to get what? 3. Okay, so these are simple arithmetic operators. Okay, so I can also say 5 times 2. And if I run it, I'm going to get 10. Do you understand? Okay, if I run it, I'm going to get 10. That is what we mean. Okay. All right. So 5 times 2, I can also say A times 2. A times B, I'm using the variables now, A times B, and I will still get 3 times 2 will give you 6. So this is how you run it. Now, but the thing is, when you talk about division, look at what is going to happen. Okay, the division is slightly tricky. Okay, so pay attention. If I say A divided by, I use the forward slash, A divided by B, I'm having an error here. It says a value of type double can be assigned to a variable of type int. Now, the thing is this. When you do division, by default, it is a double, it's a decimal division. So the result should not be int. The result, the data type should be double. Do you understand? It is very tricky, okay? The default division it will give you decimal division. That means it will return a double. But if you want an integer division, okay, you can put this symbol in front of the division, and you can see it's giving me an error because this one returns an integer. So if I run this now, okay, I'm going to get the integer division. 3 divided by 2 will give us 1 remainder. Okay, so first of all, let me take this thing back to the first one, the default. This is the default. So look at it. When I run this, it's going to give us a decimal point. It's going to give us 1.5. This is decimal division. But what if you don't want 1.5? What if you want the integer and you don't want the remainder? Okay, that is where you can now use this integer division. Okay, just practice this thing and you would master it. So if I run this now, it's not going to give me 1.5, it's going to give me just 1. Okay, it's going to return just 1. Now this is called integer division. It gives us the whole number. It will not give us the decimal point. Normally 3 divided by 2 should give you 1.5. So, but that is the default division. But if you want to make use of the whole number, depending on your application, depending on your logic, you can actually do the integer division. Now, what if you want to get the remainder? Let's say you're not interested in the whole number. You want to get the remainder because 3 divided by 2 will give you 1 remainder 1. What if you're interested in the division? Okay, in the remainder. So this is the operator that you use. If you want to get the remainder of this, you use the percentage symbol. If I do the percentage symbol now, 3 divided by B, A is 3, B is 2. So 3 divided by B and 2 will give us 1 remainder 1. So that is what is going to be printed out here. So the value is 1. What if I change this thing to 30 and I change this one to 21? 30 divided by 21 will give us 1 remainder 9. So if I run this now, you're going to see 9. You're going to see 9. Okay, that's the remainder. So use this percentage operator to find out the remainder. So please, if you get confused in any way, make a comment in the comment section so that I can attend to you. Okay, I tried as much as possible to make this thing an interactive class live, but it didn't work out. So, but we don't give up. We are still on this. So if you have any confusion, please, if you have any question, drop in the comment section. And if you're understanding anything at all, drop it in the comment section. If you like anything about the way I teach, drop it in the comment section. No matter how small it is, it makes me happy. Okay, it makes me happy and it makes me to want to do more for you guys. So let me see your thoughts in the comment section. If there's any area you want me to improve, let me see it in the comment section. If there's any, if you feel like I'm treating you well, I'm doing you well, I'm teaching well, let us know what you think about my teaching. Okay, drop in the comment section, like this video, make sure you're liking this video. Okay, drop in the comment section, and so that other people can also see it, because the more comments and the more likes it gets, other people will see the video. So drop in the comment section, make a comment, tell us what you feel, tell us how you feel about this program, tell us how you feel about my teaching, tell us how you feel, what do you like about what I do, what do you don't like, what do you dislike. Let us know in the comment section. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the next thing in our slide. Okay, now we have talked about the modulus operator, that's the remainder, the percentage symbol. So let's take a look at order of operations. Okay, let's take a look at order of operations. Now the thing is this: what if you have a scenario like this? Okay, what if you have a scenario like this? You have something like this. Let's make this thing double. Let's make the data type double. Okay, of course it's going to give us some errors, but let's change what we have here. Let's say you have something like this: 8 times 3 plus 5 divided by 5 divided by 2 plus or minus 6 modulus. Let's say you have all these operators combined together like this. What do you think would happen here? What do you think would happen here? The thing is this: I bet that your first guess is going to be very wrong, unless you know what operator of precedence means. Okay, now the thing is this: you remember board mass. Okay, you know, in board mass, brackets will be evaluated first, then off, that's for the O, will be evaluated first, second. Then if there's any division, division would go, then multiplication goes, addition goes before subtraction. So subtraction is the last one. So if we are to apply board mass here, we don't have bracket here, we don't have off here, but we have division. We have division. That means 5/2 will be evaluated first before the 8 times 3. But if I allow you now to run this program, I want you to drop in the comment section. Tell me what you think the result would be. What do you think the result of this expression would be? Is it going to, just tell me what, do your calculation and tell me what it's going to look like. Tell me what it's going to look like, okay? And I'm going to give you an assignment. Okay, your first assignment is this. I want you to go and study operator precedence, and drop in the comment section, or you send me, drop it in the comment section, or you send it to me. Explain to me what is operator precedence. Okay, explain to me. I don't want to go further with this explanation. I want to give you an assignment. I want you to go and figure it out yourself. Tell me what operator precedence is. Whether you use a voice note, whether you use a video, whatever, however you use it, I want you to teach me. Okay, go and Google it. Go on YouTube, search for operator precedence, especially in that programming language. Or they are all the same thing in all programming language. They are almost the same thing. So I want you to go and make that research and share with me what you think is operator precedence, and also go drop it in the comment section and tell us what you think operator precedence is. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we'll move to the next thing that we have here. Okay, we have the next thing we have here is the increment and decrement operators. Okay, the increment and decrement operators. Now the first one we're going to take a look at is this, the plus equal to. Now this is like a shortcut, a short form of doing something like this. Let me show you. Let me bring up my browser. Okay, now the increment operator is something like this. Let's say already I have A and B, and I want to add 2 to this b, to the value that we already have. Normally, I will do b plus 2. This is correct. This is fine. No problem. But I can use a shortcut, something like this: b plus equal to 2. And it is the same thing. Okay? It is just the same thing. It is the same thing, but it is a shortcut. Normally, the first one that we have is say b is equal to b plus 2. It will take the value of b, which is 21, then plus 2 to it, which will now be 23, and then reassign 23 to the value b. That's the same thing I'm also doing here. When I say b plus equal to 2, it's going to do the same thing that is in line 4. So it is a shortcut. It's going to do the same thing that is in line 4. We're having an error here because we don't have this sum variable again. So I'm going to delete it, or I will comment it out. Okay, so it's just doing the same thing. If I also want to do b times 2 like this, instead of doing this, I can do something like this. Instead of the plus, I can just replace it with the star, the multiplication symbol. They are the same thing. I can also do, I think you guess, or you're already guessing how you can do it with other operators. Minus like this. Instead of, you can also do division like this. Okay. You can also do division like this. All right. Okay, of course, because the division now is because division will return a double, and our b is an integer. Okay, so but if I change this thing to double, we will not have any errors there again. Okay, all right, so they work like this. Okay, but if I don't want to change that to double, I can just say I want to do integer division. I'll just say I want to do integer division, and here we go. Okay, so I want you to practice these things. Okay, then we have another one, the final one. It goes like this. I can do something like this. I can say b plus plus semicolon. I can also say plus plus b semicolon. Now you have to be very, very careful, but basically what two of them does that they add 1. If you instead of me to do something like b is equal to b plus 1, I can just do b is equal to b plus plus. Okay, but I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to explain right now. Let's print out. Let me reduce the code that we have here. Okay, and let's do something. I'm going to comment this out. I'm also going to comment this out. Then I'm going to uncomment this one, and I'm going to print out b. Please watch carefully. The value of b here is 21, and we are now reassigning the b. We are adding 1 to the value of b, which will now be 22. So if I run this program now, b 22 will be printed out as the value of b. As you can see, this is amazing. Now, I can also do something like this. I can comment this one out, and then uncomment this one. I can do something like b is equal to plus plus b. Okay, this is called pre-increment. Okay, now I can prefix increment. Okay, I can, when I run this code now, we are still going to get 22 because we are adding 1 to the value of b. That plus plus means just add 1 to the value of b. Whatever the value of b is, add 1 to it. And we already have 21 as the value of b. So when I run this, we are going to get 22. Now, but I want you to guess what will happen here. If I do this thing, now I'm using the post increment here. I'm not, the plus plus now is behind the B, is after B. What do you think will happen? You are actually expecting 22, but let me shock you. See what will happen. When I run this, you're going to get 21. Now, this is where I want to make you understand the difference between the prefix increment, I mean the prefix plus plus, and the postfix. Is there anything like that? Is there anything like postfix? I don't know. Okay, this is not English language, but you understand what I mean. Okay, post increment or postfix, I can't really remember right now, but you understand what I mean. The plus plus that comes before the variable, or the plus plus that comes after the variable. We wanted, here, your intention is to increase this variable by 1, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out. Do you understand? It didn't work out for any reason. Okay, but what if I do it here, B plus plus? If I run this code, it's going to work out. It's going to give us 22. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. It gives us the same thing. Okay, but why is it like this? Let me explain. You know, what we are doing here is that we are assigning the value of this expression, okay, to B. Anything after the equal to the assignment operator, anything at the right is an expression. So that expression will evaluate. Okay, so when this expression evaluates, what the difference is that how does it even evaluate? What it will do here is this: when you have the plus plus come first, it will increase the B by 1 and assign the incremented value to B. But for the first one here, when the plus plus is behind or comes after the B, it will evaluate the B first. After evaluation, it will return the value to assign the value to this B. And later, you can now use this. It can now increment the value B. Yes, it might sound confusing. It took me a whole lot of time to understand this thing, but get it. If you don't understand it, just cram it. Whenever you're trying to use it, just be careful, okay? If you want to increment the value, okay, before usage, use it plus plus before the variable name. But if you're going to use it and you don't want the value immediately to be processed, what you can do is you can now okay, now let me show another example. Let's say I do B plus plus and I do plus A. Okay, now our A is 30, our B is 21. And we said that when we did B plus plus, it did not increment it. But let's take a look at what will happen now. We are expecting 30, which is A, plus 22. Okay, but normally it would not, it didn't increment in the first place. But if we run this code, we are going to get 52. Do you understand? Now, the difference is that everything here evaluated, then they now took the value plus A. Do you understand? When you have a scenario like this, this will work. But when you have a scenario like this, okay, please use the plus plus, okay, before. So basically, try to use the prefix increment value, increment operator, but be careful when you're using it. Be careful, watch the value you're getting. Just be careful with it. Don't worry, over time, these things will sink in, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have mentioned all the increment operators that we have here, and it is time for your assignment, okay? This is your first assignment was to go and understand operator precedence. I want you to either use a voice note or you type it. Just teach me, tell me what you understand by operator precedence. I'm expecting your assignment, okay? Now, the second assignment you're going to have is that I want you to declare a constant. I want to see this thing on your replit.com or maybe your Visual Studio Code, anyone you choose to use. Declare a constant of type int. Give it a name, my age, and set it to your age. Whether you give me your real age or not, it doesn't matter, okay? Now, the second assignment is declare a variable of type double, all right? Call it average age. Now, initially, set the variable to your own age. I want to see you initialize it to your own age. Then after, in another line of code, set the average of your age and your best friend's age, okay? First of all, declare a variable called average age and give it a double. Give it a type of annotation double. That's the type of the variable. Now, first of all, initialize it to your own age. Then set it to the average of your age and your friend's age. That means, let me give you a clue. Once you have your average age double and you give it your age, then you can also maybe create another variable called my friend's age. Then you will now do the average. You will now do, you know how to do average, okay? You now do the average, and I want to see the result in your average age, okay? So this is your assignment. Now, the third assignment is you have to create a constant called test number and initialize it with whatever integer you like. Next, you create another constant called even odd and set it equal to test number modulo 2. That is the remainder. Now, change test number to various numbers. What do you notice about even odd? I want to see this. I want to see your creativity. Think outside the box and make this thing work, okay? Now, I don't know how much time we have left, but I want you to perform these challenges, okay? Challenge 1, consider the following code. Const s equals to 46, const y equals to 10. I want you to work out what each answer equals when you add the following lines of code, okay? I want you to tell me what the answers would be. When you do the first const answer 1 equal to s times 100 plus y, what would the answer be? I want you to do this and run the code, and let's see what the answer would be, okay? This is your second challenge, all right? This is your second challenge. Pause the video and take a look at what it's saying here. I expect it to be tough, yes, but you are growing. This is how you learn. You're really growing, okay? So this is your second challenge, and this is your third challenge, all right? In short, the thing is this: anybody who gets this third challenge, all right, I'm going to subscribe for you for 1 month. I'm going to subscribe whatever network you're using. I'm going to subscribe for you 5,000 naira airtime for you to subscribe for your data. Yes, I mean it. If you get this challenge 3, if you do all of the other one and get this challenge 3, okay, whether you get the other ones correctly, but whether you get them correctly or not, I don't care. But if you get this challenge 3 correctly, I mean it, and you have to do this thing between now and you have to submit this assignment. If you want to win this 5,000 naira airtime for your data, you have to submit this assignment. Today is Tuesday. You have to submit it before Friday. You have to submit this assignment before Friday. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of our class. And I hope you understand what I have explained here. But if you don't, drop it in the comment section. Tell me what you don't understand. Let me explain better for you. Tell me what you like about the way I teach. Tell me what you want me to improve on. Tell me what you don't like about what I do. Okay, it is an open class. I want all of us to be open-minded here. I'm open to your suggestions. Okay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Drop your answers in the comment section. Like this video, share this video, and let's make it work. My goal is that by the end of this month, we are going to create a Ludo game. I will just select 1 or 2 few people that I would work with. We'll have the Ludo game. When we start creating the project, we are going to work that one live so that you see how I do the coding. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, then please watch. I want you to take a look at this s equal to, I want you to take a look at this expression here. These things are These things are the quadratic equation. This thing is 4 dot A dot C. That means it's going to be times. Okay, it's going to be 4 times A, then times C. The other one is 2 times A. Please take note of that. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we call it a night. And I will see you tomorrow. Okay, I will see you tomorrow. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.